President Obama gave his 5th State of the Union address last night. We have a recap of the president's comments. Stationed up at the Lowell Observatory for more than the last century, the Clarke telescope is being restored. Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm Colleen Sikora. Thanks for tuning in. President Obama delivered his 5th State of the Union address on Tuesday. He urged Congress to support his agenda, but at times he said he's fine going at it alone. NAZ Today's Kaylee George brings us more.
What's going on, man?
It's a rare occasion for Washington politicians, often engaged in political combat, to come together.
The President of the United States. Thank you.
Sustained applause and ovations for President Obama during his 5th State of the Union address.
It is you, our citizens, who make the state of our union strong.
Yet also plenty of opportunities for criticism. The president tackling topics and calling for action on issues that separate Democrats and Republicans and everyday Americans. On immigrant reform.
Independent economists say immigration reform will grow our economy and shrink our deficits by almost $1 trillion in the next 2 decades.
And raising the minimum wage nationwide.
Inequality has deepened. Upward mobility has stalled.
Until Congress acts, the president said that he will sign an executive order to raise the minimum wage to just over $10 for new federal contract workers.
So join the rest of the country. Say yes. Give America a raise.
Just one initiative in Obama's so-called Year of Action, where he vows that if Congress won't work with him to help Americans, that he will go around Congress.
Wherever and whenever I can take steps without legislation to expand opportunity for more American families, that's what I'm going to do.
After the president's speech, the Republican response from Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rogers.
We hope the president will join us in a year of real action by empowering people, not by making their lives harder with unprecedented spending, higher taxes, and fewer jobs.
And now we expect for President Obama to take his pitch on the road tomorrow. He has stops in Atlanta, Maryland, and near Pittsburgh. And on Thursday, we expect to see him in Wisconsin and in Nashville, Tennessee. Reporting in Washington, I'm Shannon Travis.
President Obama is delivering his pitch around the U.S. Tomorrow, he's expected to stop in Wisconsin and Tennessee. The Clarke telescope, after life struggles with communication from hearing loss, one NAU student carves a path to scholarship and expressing her words through a unique art.
Born in a Vietnam village, Tha Mue lived a normal childhood until an ear infection robbed her of her hearing when she was only 9 years old. Mue explains the daily frustrations she faced.
I just seem like they don't understand me, they don't love me, they mean to me.
Despite not knowing the extent of her disability, Mue's father taught her how to communicate by reading a person's body language.
And one thing I learned of people, they can tell you lie. They can lie to you by saying the word. Their face, their body never lie.
Mue also learned about meditation from her father. Although this method was not universal with all people, Mue found peace from within herself.
When in communication, you don't need to talk. You look together, you keep silent, and then you think in your mind process, and then you can observe together.
What started off with sewing old, worn clothing soon turned into a hobby. The scenes depicted in her artwork would often come to her during meditation.
When I see the image, and then I try to describe for my father, he say, saving that. You can transfer on this and then you do it and then show me later. And then that's the way he told me that the language is not only for the verbal or listen. They can transfer for another system.
Much of Mue's needlepoint work focuses on wild birds and flowers. The birds symbolized the freedom from her disability.
And then when they try to fly off and then they move in or they hunting the food, it's so fun.
Orchids and lotus flowers appear often in her work. Mue said plants go through a selfless journey to provide nutrients for the future.
After flower, that's a fruit. And the fruit will be on the inheritance for the next generation.
Now at NAU pursuing a biomedical degree, Mue hopes to prove the effectiveness of herbal remedies, similar to those she used as a girl.
All the people just like, oh, I heard that and then I heard that. Nothing to confirm. And then I just try to use the laboratories the knowledge I learned, to confirm it and experiment it, and then say the statement, yes, this works.
After spending 25 years of her life without hearing, Mue's hearing was completely restored after having several surgeries in the U.S. Mue works at the greenhouse at NAU's campus, taking care of plants from across the globe. These plants bring inspiration to both her scientific and artistic endeavors. For NAZ Today, I'm Ryan Maderick.
The Clarke telescope has been perched high up at the Lowell Observatory for over 100 years. Yesterday, the telescope was removed to be restored. NAZ Today brings you more.
A historic telescope, and it's used every night for the public. It needs to look good and perform well. And after you use it for 100 years, the various parts loosen up and some of them fall out, and there's a buildup of grease and debris that have to be taken off and redone. And we want a good paint job. We took off the lens, the front tube, and then we went to the back tube and let the telescope weights down to the lowest position. And now it's ready to take up to our fixture up at the shop so we can further disassemble the telescope at a lower elevation. Things went very, very well, and the thing you have to watch is the parts getting away from you, since you don't really know where the balance point is, but everything seemed to work fine, and we just take it slowly, and we have a good crane crew, and that's the name of the game right there.
The refurbishment of the telescope, he says, barring any unforeseen problems, the Clarke could be back in place at Lowell this coming fall. NAZ Today went out to Verde Valley Heritage Site to take a look at one of the hidden gems of northern Arizona. The Dew Downtown event is fast approaching, but the snow being created for the Dew has some upset. Stay tuned to find out more.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
For many years, one site in northern Arizona was privately owned, but this site is now owned by the Forest Service, revealing some ancient artifacts.
But you can see similar things way up there, too.
The V Ranch was originally the 100 place, and it was homesteaded in 1900, and for the next 94 years this was private land. The ranchers by and large respected what was here and kept it protected. That was done because of natural rock fall.
The petroglyphs has been a kind of a new interest to us.
These are petroglyphs, carved images, and almost everything here was believed to have been done by the Sonawa people, the village farmers that lived in this area. And this was done during the later phase of their culture, between 1100 and probably 1400 AD.
We're a little familiar with the geographic side of the Colorado Plateau and all that, but we haven't been to this area, so we're just kind of trying to learn more about it.
Heritage Site is home to one of the largest and most well-preserved petroglyph collections. It is located off of State Route 179. The Dew Downtown event is coming up next weekend, but the source of the water used to create the snow has some concern. NAZ Today's Xavier Rangel has more on the story.
The third annual Dew Downtown Flagstaff takes place next weekend, but not without controversy. Warm weather and low snowfall have forced event organizers to manufacture snow from fresh drinking water for the second year in a row.
This year has been very difficult as far as making the snow. You had to have certain temperatures, and of course we all know it's been fairly warm.
City officials had originally planned to manufacture snow from reclaimed water. However, they failed to apply for a permit in time from the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality.
The water source is potable, just like you get in your faucet. We cannot, we went through ADEQ, and it cannot be made a use site because of certain elements, because it's a city street.
Last year, the city used 400,000 gallons of water for Dew Downtown. To put this figure into perspective, Brad Hill says the city of Flagstaff uses 2.7 billion gallons of water each year.
And it's a relatively small volume of water than what we deliver, less than what we deliver to our community, in a single day. The Upper Lake Mary is at approximately 29% full. Last year, Upper Lake Mary was 18% full. So in fact, if people look to surface water as a gauge to our water supply, we have more water today than we did last year at the same day.
Despite the recent increase in surface water, many citizens feel that the city has sent the wrong message. They feel that during drought conditions and global warming, city officials should encourage conservation.
We just don't feel that that is well aligned with the mission of water conservation and that it sends the right message of a resilient and resilient community.
In the meantime, city officials have begun the snowmaking process for the Dew Downtown event on February 8th and 9th. For NAZ Today, I'm Xavier Rangel.
Today we tied the record for the winter dry spell with no precipitation in 39 days. Is there some moisture in our future? Meteorologist Lee Bourne is here with your full weather forecast.
All right, a warm one out there today at the time of this recording, 59 degrees. That was at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And the reason I bring that up is because I'm not sure if we're going to break that record. We're really close. 60 degrees, a record high set back in 1986. After this very warm month and very dry month, I don't think we've hit any high temperature records. And today, appropriate because it looks like this is the grand finale of this high pressure spell that began all the way back December 22nd. We're in a dry streak now that goes 39 days. Today, the 39th day, that ties us for the longest winter dry streak of all time. It also occurred back in 1917. It looks like we're going to break it. I think we remain dry through Thursday, but then I think things start to change and we get a little bit of moisture in here. Okay, here's a look at it. Here we are in Arizona, high pressure moving right across on top of us out there today, bringing the warm temperatures. Notice the high clouds spilling over the top of the ridge of high pressure. A little bit of thin cirrus out there today, but that's going to thicken up overnight tonight and through the day on Thursday. And then these storm systems that are starting to make their way into the Pacific finally going to have a window to move in as this high pressure begins to break down. And I think we have a little weak storm system beginning on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Few storm systems roll through, a chance of precipitation each and every day. So for on Thursday, though, high pressure begins to break down. It'll still be warm as these storm systems start to bring some precipitation into the western United States, and they'll just be on our heels here in Arizona. I think we're in for a windy day, not as warm as today, mostly cloudy, winds gusting up around 40 miles per hour. This is Thursday. Then some of this moisture starts to make its way in on Friday. We're finally in a little bit of a trough of low pressure. Notice the coldest air still to our north. This trough is not all that strong, but several weak Pacific storm systems move through all 3 days throughout the weekend and even into early next Monday. So I think we could see a little bit of light rain and snow each and every day. Light precipitation amounts, snow levels never really get below 5,500 feet. Maybe a couple of inches for elevations above 6,000 feet throughout the entire weekend. But hey, a little bit's better than nothing. So for us overnight into Thursday, 27 degrees, mild early morning temperature, breezy conditions, and the clouds on the increase throughout the day. A cloudy day out there on Thursday, 52 degrees, not quite that 60 we had for us midweek, and windy conditions, winds gusting up around 40 miles per hour throughout the day. Here's a look at temperatures statewide. 66 in Sedona Thursday, 62 Prescott, 81 degrees in Phoenix. The extended forecast finally even got some clouds in there, a little bit of moisture, some rain overnight Thursday and early Friday, turning to a little bit of snow showers Friday, snow showers each and every day. Much cooler around here through the weekend with highs in the upper 30s, starting to feel a little bit more like winter around here. And for you down in Sedona, things cool down in the mid 50s with rain showers in the forecast each and every day. Colleen, send it back over to you.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.